In our political panel, we have Josh Lafazan, former Democratic legislator from Nassau County, New York, and Katie Frost, Republican strategist and former executive director of the Georgia Freedom Caucus. Welcome, both of you. Josh, I do want to start with you tonight. We are seeing that image, Secretary of State Rubio side by side with Netanyahu. You're saying there is no daylight between the U.S. and Israel, and you say this is why many Jewish Americans voted for the right. Tell me more.
It is. Thanks for having me, Natasha. Listen, I'm a Democrat who represented a Republican district here in New York, and many of my constituents, many Democrats voted Republican for the first time in their lives because they didn't believe that the Democratic Party was in unison on Israel. And there can be no daylight when it comes to the United States and Israel. Since its founding, Israel's been attacked in 1948, 1956, 1967, 1973, 1982. 2006 and 2023. No other nation would accept living with neighbors who openly work to kill its citizens. So, of course, Marco Rubio is right. Gaza must be fully demilitarized with security guarantees for Israel after a war. Hamas must be destroyed. And the most important thing for America is to continue to have no daylight with Israel. Yahya Sinwar of Hamas said daylight with Israel is the reason why the war was dragged on and it took so long to end. And the last thing I'll say is normalization with Saudi Arabia is so important. It's a tectonic shift of power away from Iran and to the Abraham Accords of normalizations with our Sunni allies, America and Israel. Things are on the right track right now. And I say that as a Democrat.
Okay, a lot there. Katie, meanwhile, does Iran find itself in a very precarious situation right now?
Well, it's wonderful to be with you again, Natasha. Yes, Iran is in a precarious situation, and that's exactly where they need to be. We do not want our enemies to be comfortable. We do not want our enemies to be emboldened or confident. People who will go against the freedom and democracy around the world are not the friends of the United States. Iran is the funder of terrorism. We've known this for decades. They took our hostages back in 1979. They started the current regime by taking Americans hostage. They are not our friends. They need to be on guard. And I'll tell you, my friend, I agree. We need to be supporting Israel. We also need to make sure these hostage releases continue and to secure the release of our American hostages.
And Josh, I do want to talk about Ukraine quickly. President Zelensky saying the U.S. and Russia cannot make any decisions about Ukraine's future without Ukraine at the table. Should Ukraine worry about being sidelined here? Do you think they're going to be forced into making some uncomfortable concessions and giving up territory in any sort of deal?
They shouldn't, right? Vladimir Putin is a murderous, dictatorial, monster who cannot be trusted. We share zero values with Putin. And Mitt Romney was right in 2012 when he told Barack Obama that Russia is our biggest geopolitical foe in the region. So it is a tragedy for many in the Republican Party, and Ronald Reagan is rolling over in his grave to see many Republicans take the side of Putin over our Democratic ally in Ukraine. And I'll tell you, if you look at what's happened in the Ukraine-Russia war, the position of Russia is precarious. They're so desperate for soldiers. They're recruiting soldiers from North Korea. 650,000 soldiers died. That's more than the totality of the casualties on both sides of the civil war. 5% of our military budget spent on Ukraine assistance. Russia's gone from the second most powerful army in the world to the second most powerful army in Ukraine. So it was heartening to see a bipartisan Senate delegation visit Zelensky and let him know that we will not abandon them. But President Trump seems to see Putin as a kindred spirit. I see him as a murderous, dictatorial thug, somebody we have nothing in common with.
All right, a Putin as Trump's kindred spirit. Katie, I want to give you a chance to respond there.
Quite a hot take there from my colleague. I will say, when you say, will there be a way that Ukraine and Russia come to the table and there's an agreement where both sides are happy? There has never been a war ended throughout history where someone didn't have to make some concession, where someone didn't get everything they wanted. That is what has happened throughout the entire history of humanity. So yes, there are going to be difficult conversations. Russia will be making concessions. Ukraine will also be having to make some concessions. That's how the world works. But what I can tell you is that we see with President Trump the difference between strength and weakness on the world stage. That is my biggest takeaway from this. Whether we're talking about Israel or Ukraine, we now have a president who is a strong leader. Our allies and our enemies know this, and they're conducting themselves accordingly. And it is such a complete 160 to 180 from where we were with the weakness of the Biden administration to the strength under President Trump.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.